going on, y'all? This Pito back with another book review. Today we doing one of my favorite books I've read in a long time. This book was amazing. We diving into Will Packer motivational guide. Who Better Than You? The Art of Healthy Arrogance and Dreaming Big. This book was amazing. Now, I got to confess, I listened to the audiobook on this one. And if you're a fan of business books, self-help books and stuff like that, you might want to get the audio version for this. Because the man, like the author, Will Packer, the man behind blockbuster movies like Girls Trip, Ride Along, he didn't just read this book to you. He produced it like a movie. The experience was spot on, complete with like music, sound effects, real voices of the major guest stars. That the people that he even telling his stories is commenting on the stories. It's crazy. I read a lot of self-help books that can feel a little dry or overwhelmingly serious. This was a great change of pace. Will Packer's storytelling is on point, and he really don't take himself too serious, which I love about it. But it's powerful lessons that he shared that's even harder, and it's like getting a master class successfully delivered by like one of your best friends or something like that. So this is why this book was so dope, and it was amazing. If you have read it, let me know. This your boy Pito back with another book review. Let's get it. So one thing I'm not good at is asking for help, and today I'm going against my rules, and I need you guys' help to help me grow my channel. I'm at like 253 subscribers. I need to get to 1,000. That's my goal. That's what I want to get to. I'm doing this purely out of love for just reading, the black man reading books. I try to inspire people by my experiences and things I do and things I go through and related to books, and even try to educate people on things they may or may not have. I do a lot of self-help. I do memoirs. I do a lot of different books. But if y'all can help me get to my goal of 1,000 subscribers, I greatly appreciate it. Right now we at like 253. But I'm still going. I'm still pushing. I did over 30 books last year. I'm trying to get back on track because now I got sidetracked with a lot of things in life, but I'm trying to get back to it. So please subscribe, like, comment, turn on that notification bell. And it's your boy Peter with another book review. Let's get it. Happy Halloween, by the way. So Will Packer book, Who Better Than You? He gives much insight into his journey, and one of the stories that particularly stood out to me is a fantastic teaching moment. He talked about the difference between seeking validation and knowing the true purpose and what you're focusing on. He talked about the premiere, like one of his first movies that he produced ever. He worked hard, tirelessly, and he was ready for this big moment. He made sure the theater was packed out, but he specifically saved the entire front row for the big wigs of the industry, like Oprah and stuff like that, and power players. He desperately wanted to impress them from here on out. But guess what? Not one single of them showed up. That whole front row was empty. It was a huge blow and a real moment of disappointing for him. That was kind of like rejection and the biggest breakthrough. And he realized like he wasn't making movies for those empty seats in that front row. He was making movies for the 100 of people and the rest of the theater that spent their hard-earned money. These was all college students that didn't really have it to be there to show up. He specifically referenced one iconic person that was Oprah that didn't show up because he sent her an invite as well. This story became like critical time and playing philosophy. Like listening is a simple, profound, and stop making your work about other people that never show up for you. Instead, focus on the one and be grateful for the audience and the customers that genuinely support you. This sort of book is like the title, Who Better Than You, really takes root. Packer is like essentially saying focus on the people who believe in your vision because they are the energy that will help propel you to the top, not from the critics behind closed doors. That's one part that I love about this book that I thought was amazing. Okay, so in Will Packer book, Who Better Than You, I want to tell one of the stories that he told in the book, and I hope he don't get mad if he sees this. I get a lot of authors that do repost my stuff, so hopefully he don't get mad that I'm telling the story specific and bit by bit like he told it. But I thought it was hilarious. So we got to talk about Kevin Hart. Now, he had an incident with Kevin Hart where they were shooting Ride Along, and they shot it at the market in Atlanta, one of the like hardest markets to get. Like he had to get it on this particular day, and it was a lot of money. I think it was like $1 million to reserve it on this particular Sunday. It was either a Saturday or Sunday. And Kevin Hart had one of his major like stand-ups early in his career at Madison Square Garden booked for the next day. So he was telling Will, like, look, I got this event that I got to go to. He like, you got to reschedule it because we can't chance missing this event, this shot that we got because it's expensive and it's hard to get. So Kevin was like, I can't. Kevin Hart was like, I can't cancel it. I have to make this event. So he like, all right, man, what's the event? So he found out what it was. Like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why would you schedule one of your major stand-up performances at Madison Square Garden, knowing how major this is going to be and knowing that we have this crazy shot the next day? He was like, no, it's gonna be okay. It was gonna be okay. So he's like, look, how about this? Kevin went to Will Packer, was like, look, how about you bring your family, bring your wife and your producer. I think it's producer or his writer. Bring your producer, bring the writer with you and with me. They all come with me on this flight, go to New York. We catch the event and we have a good time. We come right back the next morning and shoot the scene for Ride Along. So Will was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, if I'm with you, then I can make sure he come back and get back on time. So they fly out. They having a good time. Will Packer wife with him. His producer or his writer wife is with them. So they go to Madison Square Garden. Kevin kill it. He clean out. He sell out the arena. All the celebrities in the world is there. So they hype. They excited. They in the background celebrating like, yeah, Kevin did his thing. Kevin did his thing. So Will was like, all right, it's time to go. We got like 2 hours before we got to make it back to the jet before we miss our time frame where we can make this jet to go back to Atlanta to make the shoot for the next morning. So he like, all right, it's time to go. So Will Packer here, one of Kevin Hart's homies, like, it's time for the after party. Let's go to the after party. He was like, no after party. We're not going to none of that. Like, we need to get back on this plane. So Kevin was like, look, don't worry about it. We're going to go to after party for like 5 minutes. I'm gonna stop in, wave there, and we wave to everybody, and we out of there. I'm gonna do one drink and we going. So he like, fuck, like we can't do this. So he like, all right, man, I got it. It's cool, no worry. So when he went up to him, he was talking to Jay-Z in the corner at the backstage at Madison Square Garden. He said, so they rush into the club. They get there. So he like, all right, let's get this drink, get it over with. So he's saying like every celebrity there, everybody is partying, having a good time. And he said, real quick, be back to track. He said when they was at Madison Square Garden, him and his wife was having a ball. So they was taking pictures of him and his wife and his assistant and his wife. So everything seemed like it's going according to plan. So fast forward back to the club where the after party is at. So they at the after party. And he's like, yo, we got to go. So Kevin is kind of like dragging his feet, taking his time, knowing they got this time crunch where they got to get back to shoot this movie. He says, so all you hear in the club is you start seeing a bunch of champagne bottles, a bunch of sparklers. The lights go on in the club. Hey, like, doom, like, who the fuck is this coming into this club right now? So everybody's super excited. So all you hear is the DJ grab the mic like, Carmelo Anthony. So Carmelo had just got with the Knicks around this time. So, you know, the Knicks were still hype about winning the championship with Carmelo. So Carmelo come up into the VIP, like, he grabbed him like, yo, he grabbed Kevin and like, you gonna die tonight. Like, you gonna get you so drunk and so wasted tonight, you gonna die. So Will Packer like, no, not tonight. No, we could do this another night. How about after the season we could do it? Not tonight. So he said he's trying to talk to Kevin, and Kevin was like, man, we tried. And he said at that very moment he knew Kevin was setting all this shit up to get him. So Kevin told him to come on a flight, bring your wife in and take. So when they got there, they took pictures with everybody to show that they was having a good time. He knew that they was going to take this trip. He knew Kevin had to show at Madison Square Garden. So if they did not make it back on time, they can blame him. The studios could blame Will Packer instead of Kevin Hart. So Will Packer was like, that little motherfucker set me up. He knew if I was here taking all these pictures and showing he got proof that I was having a good time and I knew what was going on, the studios is going to blame me and not him. So he would start panicking for real. So he said he started talking to Carmelo like, yo, Carmelo, can you please let us get out of here? Please, we got to go. And Carmelo was looking at him like, yo, who the fuck is this dude keep talking to me? And he said Kevin Hart said something to him. And he's like, oh, okay. All right, cool. I'm going to let y'all go over here. But later on, I got y'all. But I just thought it was so funny how much he was panicking and breaking down, trying to make sure he made it back to the jet in time so they could make their flight. And they did end up making it back. And y'all did end up seeing that great scene and Ride Along with Gary Owen butt naked throwing fruit at Kevin Hart. So yeah, that just was another great story and why this book was so amazing, especially when you hear the production behind these stories it's telling. So yeah, that was a great part of this book. So in Will Packer's book, Who Better Than You, he talks about how hard it was to get Stomp the Yard off the ground. Like, nobody wanted to touch that movie. A movie centered around HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. The industry repeatedly told them no, like it wasn't a commercially viable idea that they wanted to do. So they came to a meeting and they was doing a pitch to like one of these big executives, and the executive was clearly clueless and unprepared. He looked across the table and asked Will Packer, like, why don't y'all black guys go to real colleges instead of these fake HBCUs? Like, it did just like a knife that's cutting even deeper. He said, oh, but we was actually looking to make a sequel to You Got Served. This story is infuriating, but at the same time, the reason why the book exists is a testament to the fact that you must be your own champion because no one else is going to stand up for you and fight for your unique vision. Packer faced rejection, profound misunderstandings, and he never let that ignorance dictate what he was trying to do or his confidence. He knew the world needed to see this pride, this culture, and the powers of HBCUs. And the fact that the executive was like, yo, why don't y'all go to some real colleges? It just lets you know the lack of information and the ability to comprehend a lot of stuff that we be having going on in our community, in our neighborhoods, and stuff that we got going on that we take pride in. So people like Will Packer championing and really taking on that endeavor really shows why more of us is needed in these spaces. You feel me? So Will Packer book, Who Better Than You? They talk about the time when he was at the Falcons versus the Patriots Super Bowl, and he was talking about how excited he was, how much shit he was talking on the first half, first 3 quarters really. And he was in the section with number white people. He talking so much shit. Him and his wife is singing, they dancing, they celebrating, they doing waves by themselves. They hyped. They know Atlanta squashing them. They know Atlanta gonna win. He said even the mayor had called him and started planning like the routes for the Super Bowl parade. They started planning like the celebrities, the schedules, the time, everything. And if for the people that don't know, this is like one of the biggest collapses in Super Bowl history that the Falcons ended up losing in the 4th quarter. But it was crazy. I was at the Super Bowl too. This moment perfectly illustrates one of Packers' critical lessons. Don't get complacent. Don't assume the win is your win just because you're ahead at the time. No matter how big your lead is, you have to play hard until the whistle blows. It's a great, funny reminder that you must finish the job and you cannot have any premature celebrations. You gotta finish through. And that was just another funny part of how much they were celebrating and excited. They knew they had that dub and that Mayor even was celebrating, ready for parade. And them niggas end up losing. God damn Falcons. I'm an Eagles fan, by the way. I ain't a Falcons fan, but I like the Falcons though. But still, go Birds. Another thing in Packer's book, Who Better Than You? Packer revealed that the film Takers was almost completely unraveled on the first day of production because of a conflict with Paul Walker in the beginning with a high-ranking studio executive. The conflict was over the character's look. The studio and the producers, including Packer, was trying to get, Paul to look a certain way. They wanted the stylish, high-tech heist movie, and Paul's character needed to look slick, cool, coordinated, kind of like a GQ model. But Paul walked in straight from Hawaii up the beach, more of a laid-back, like a hippie style. That's how he wanted to look. And the fight between Paul and the executive was like kind of a big deal, but Paul didn't want the other people to know what was going on. So he desperately, Will Packer was desperately trying to de-escalate the situation between Paul Walker and the executive. So Will ended up going to Paul Walker's trailer, and Packer realized he had to step in at this time. So he went to his trailer and explained to him everything that was going on. He apologized to Paul Walker about them not being on the same page and knowing that this environment was stressful. So he kind of took the high road. And Paul Walker was like, look, I know it's a good and a bad cop, and you being a good cop, but you're doing a good job at it. So Paul Walker ended up listening to him and ended up getting on the same page and changing his look to be more on the GQ versus the hippie thing. And it just it's really a look into like emotional intelligence to manage the personalities and diffuse these high pressure situations. Packer held his ground even though he was apologetic and wanted to do with his creative choices, but he still found a way to make everybody comfortable enough to where they can get back to work and get the movie done. But it's crazy that movie was almost gone because Paul Walker didn't want to wear them outfits. The late great Paul Walker, and he was saying like he didn't want Idris Elba and everybody else to find out that Paul didn't want to wear the outfit either, because they kind of didn't want it either. So he didn't want a mutiny of everybody coming together like, nah, if he ain't wearing it, I ain't wearing that shit. So just another crazy story about the book, Who Better Than You? It was good. So another thing in Will Packer's book, Who Better Than You? All these stories from like near-death disasters on the Taker to the Super Bowl, to the Takers movie, to the Super Bowl fallout, even the ridiculous rejections to Stomp the Yard. It's kind of like he got this approach to taking the thunder out. He stresses that in high pressure situations, your job is not to find out who to blame. Your job is to engage with people to find the immediate solution. Shift the focus and don't fight about the blame. Focus entirely on the solution. This book is like a masterclass in staying calm under fire, managing complex personalities and understanding the mistakes and setbacks is just a part of the process. Your goal as a movie producer, It's not just to be a producer. It's just you projecting people's lives. You trying to get shit done. You trying to dictate. You trying to control. You like the quarterback of the situation. So you got to manage a bunch of different personalities. You got to be there. You got to do this. You got to take care of a lot of different things. And if it wasn't no emotional intelligence that he had, he wouldn't be able to handle all these things and get certain shit done. So he called take the thunder out of it. And I love that analogy because it kind of focuses on the solution instead of playing the blame game or even being extremely hostile in situations where it really ain't necessary. So that's another thing that I loved about this book that I thought was amazing. So another thing Will Packer talked about was the struggle of Stomp the Yard. It's probably one of the most inspiring stories in the book. The movie was really a project for him. He had a deep desire to promote, celebrate black fraternities and sorority life in the HBCU culture. And as we discussed, the studios didn't believe in Packer concept, the whole idea of it. So they had this ignorance about it, but he had a healthy arrogance about knowing his story was going to be big, and he fought to get that movie approved because he knew what it was going to be. But the fight wasn't over from there. Packer knew he needed support from the actual HBCUs and for sororities and fraternities, so he started calling them to try to get support for doing all of these scenes in the movie. But they kind of was blowing him off, like, nah, we good. Like, we busy, they ain't got time for it. But the only time the sororities and fraternities even hitting back from the HBCUs when they started noticing the movie started getting a buzz and they started making some money so they was like, look, we going cease and desist. We need to shut all this down if we're not going to be a part of it. And he was so hurt and so mad because he was fighting for them to get into these movies. He was fighting for them to be seen. And he did all this work to put them in position. And the studio execs from Sony asked him, like, yo, is this gonna be a problem? And they was like, nah, it ain't gonna be a problem. He was like, nah, it ain't gonna be a problem. Those are my people. And then they turn around and do a cease and desist trying to shut down a movie that he was building for them. So sometimes, man, it's just crazy how it be your own people that's trying to shut down your progress or where you trying to go or your momentum. But he said, like 10 years later or later on, that some new people took over some of these sororities and fraternities, and it ended up, apologizing and doing stuff to kind of make amends for what happened. But it's still crazy though. Like, he doing all this fighting to put y'all in position, and y'all turn y'all back, or not even turn y'all back. Y'all start coming after him, all because y'all wasn't trying to be down when it first initially started, when he came to y'all. So it's just crazy, man. Like I said, sometimes be your own people. So Will Packer book, Who Better Than You? Packer emphasizes that success isn't just one big win. It's about being relentless, stacking small, consistent wins. The mentality is keep going no matter what, executing, moving, and delivering. He gives a fantastic breakdown of his thought process, targeting audiences. He doesn't make movies for everyone. He identifies specific audiences who are underserved and hungry for content, and then makes a blockbuster specifically for them. This focused approach, the approach that he takes is a consistent open to keep getting #1 movies. But perhaps the most profound analogy in this book is his encouragement to keep moving forward, even in the rain, when life is uncertain, when everything is messy, when you in the storms. You can't wait for a perfect sunny day to start running. When life is uncertain, you have to keep being proactive, keep putting your head down, keep the forward momentum. That's how you stay ahead of the competition. And that's one of the things that I love the most about this book, is to keep pushing forward. So in conclusion, man, I love this book. If you haven't read it, make sure you do. Make sure you check it out. But this book is an entire journey filled with chaos, comedy, and creative wars, to the point that no one is overriding philosophies that Will Packer teaches. In the face of crisis, your job is to take the thunder out. Don't engage in a fight about blame. Shift the focus immediately to the solution. Your goal of the producer is to produce a movie. It's a movie of your own life. So make sure you keep the movie moving forward. I highly recommend that you grab this book. Seriously, the audiobook version of this book is cinematic experience. It's funny, it's honest, and it gives you the boost of healthy arrogance you need to go to make your own blockbuster. This your boy Pito. I absolutely positively love this fucking book. If you haven't read it, make sure you do. But get the audiobook, man. I mean, I'm not, going against you hard copy people's, but the audiobook was amazing and it's funny as hell. This your boy Pito back with another book review. And if you have read Will Packer, Who Better Than You? Let me know in the comment section. It's your boy Pito, and we out this bitch.